Ah, did Frankenstein.
What if the funniest 80s movies are the ones you've never even heard of? From spy spoofs to alien invasions, these movies are full of the kind of zaniness you just don't see anymore. So why did these epic comedies disappear? Today we're digging up some forgotten 80s comedies that are totally wild, super weird, and seriously hilarious. And one of these might just become your new favorite 80s flick. But first, what if the government accidentally picked the two worst guys ever to save the world? That's exactly what happens in Spies Like Us. Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd play two clueless losers who think they've been selected for a major operation, but they're actually just decoys meant to draw attention away from the real spies. And what follows? Absolute chaos. These two end up in the middle of Cold War madness, dodging missiles, flirting with Soviet agents, and somehow stumbling their way across borders without a clue. One minute they're getting trained like real agents and failing horribly, and the next they're accidentally saving the world. It's like someone dropped Dumb and Dumber into a James Bond movie, and it somehow works perfectly. The movie is packed with ridiculous gadgets, awkward disguises, and one-liners that will have you laughing way harder than you expect.
Well, wouldn't you feel more comfortable being fully relieved of any excess fluids that might be building up immediately now?
There's even a scene where they try to perform surgery without ever learning how. And just when you think it can't get any wackier, what if aliens showed up and said only one boring dude could save the world? Real Men is one of those movies that makes zero sense on paper, but ends up being a wild ride. The story kicks off with a regular boring guy named Bob, played by John Ritter, who's suddenly pulled into a top-secret mission by a cool, smooth-talking CIA agent played by James Belushi. Why? Because the world is about to end and aliens have the cure. Literally a glass of water that can save Earth.
What kind of water is that?
Oh, don't worry, Bob. It's a good bottled kind.
But the aliens will only give it to someone they trust. So, naturally, the CIA picks the most average, soft-spoken guy on the planet. And from there, things get weird. Really weird. They fight off clowns with guns, dodge assassins, survive crazy car chases, and even face off with laser-toting alien guards. Bob has to go from total loser to actual hero and fast. What makes Real Men hilarious isn't just the plot, it's how ridiculous the characters are in every situation. Bob is so awkward, it's hard not to laugh, and Belushi's super spy act is just cocky enough to be funny without trying too hard. Now imagine failing science class and accidentally turning your high school into a time travel war zone. In my science project, a high school slacker named Michael is in serious trouble. He forgot about his science project, and now he has one night to come up with something or he fails. So what does he do? Break into a military junkyard and steal a glowing alien thing. Obviously. Sounds smart, right? Spoiler, it's not. What he grabs is actually a weird alien device that doesn't just look cool, it bends time and space. When he plugs it into the wall, it opens a frickin' portal that lets dinosaurs, cavemen, World War II soldiers, and even future tech invade his school. One minute they're in class, the next minute there's a T-Rex crashing through the hallway.
It's God-funking-Zilla.
And the teachers? Useless. So it's up to Michael and his friends to stop the madness. This movie is totally insane, and that's why it's so fun. The movie stars John Stockwell and feels like a sci-fi version of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, mixed with Ghostbusters and Back to the Future, but even more extreme. But what if instead of a science fair, someone faked their way onto live radio and actually helped people? In The Couch Trip, Dan Aykroyd plays a mental patient named John Burns, who somehow fakes his way into becoming a celebrity radio shrink in Los Angeles. And the wild part? People actually love him.
Come on, I got a section reserved here on the special just for people who have a compulsive need to brown nose.
Here's how it goes. A real doctor freaks out and leaves his show. The producers need someone fast, so they call the wrong place and end up talking to Burns, who's locked up in a mental hospital, but sounds confident enough on the phone to land the job. Before you know it, he's on a plane to Hollywood. And somehow, he nails it. He starts giving wild, no-filter advice on air, roasting callers, shouting at producers, and solving problems in the most unexpected and sometimes illegal ways. Meanwhile, the real Doctor is trying to get his job back, and chaos unfolds behind the scenes.
Okay, but you're gonna have to answer to Dr. Baird about this.
I am Dr. Baird!
What makes the couch trip hilarious is how totally unqualified this guy is. Yet he's actually better at helping people than the real experts. Add in Walter Matthau as a grumpy priest and a bunch of 80s-style celebrity meltdowns, and you've got a comedy that's both smart and ridiculous. And if that wasn't wild enough, how about a monster hunting trip that turns into the weirdest comedy you've ever seen? In Transylvania 6-5000, two bumbling tabloid journalists, played by Jeff Goldblum and Ed Begley Jr., are sent to Transylvania to investigate reports that Frankenstein is real. Sounds spooky, right? Nope, it's totally hilarious. They get there expecting a creepy haunted town, but instead they find a bunch of weird locals, super awkward monsters, and a castle full of chaos. There's a mad scientist, a creepy butler, and monsters that are way more funny than scary. And yes, Frankenstein does show up, but not in the way you'd expect. Also bonus, Gina Davis shows up as a vampire in a super 80s outfit. This movie is like a monster mashup gone wrong in the best way. It tries to be spooky but ends up being pure comedy gold. The acting is over the top, the costumes are ridiculous, and the jokes are so bad they loop back around to being amazing. Now picture this. You're stuck teaching a bunch of misfit teens and two of them just faked a zombie attack in class. In summer school, Mark Harmon plays a chill gym teacher named Freddie Shoop. He's planning to spend his summer vacation surfing, eating junk food, and basically doing nothing. But then, surprise, he gets forced to teach remedial English to the school's biggest group of misfits. And trust me, this class is full of characters.
All of us have been ripped off, right? Payphone steals your money, not enough cheese on your pizza. My shades keep falling apart. Perfect.
There's a horror movie-obsessed duo who bring fake gore to class, a surfer who never actually shows up, a pregnant teen, a nerd, and even a dude who pretends he doesn't speak English just to avoid homework. It's chaos. At first, Shoop has zero clue how to handle any of it. He doesn't want to teach, they don't want to learn. It's the perfect storm of disaster. But over time, something crazy happens. They start to bond. And the best part? The horror fans stage a fake zombie attack in class. You've never seen a classroom this wild. So what happens when a bunch of grown-up scouts try to relive their childhood and end up in a survival chase? In The Wrong Guys, a bunch of old friends who were once in the same scout troop reunite as adults to finally finish what they started, earning one badge they never got. Sounds innocent, right? Yeah. Until they head into the forest and accidentally cross paths with an escaped convict who thinks they're FBI agents. The group includes 80s comedy legends like Louis Anderson, Richard Lewis, and Richard Belzer, and they're all playing total man-children.
We are the Owl Patrol, brave and true. From dawn till dusk, we'll
They've got zero camping skills. They argue about snacks, and half of them are scared of bugs. It's like a bunch of dads on a weekend trip, if the weekend turns into total survival chaos. What starts as a silly let's go camping story turns into a wild comedy chase. They're dodging traps, running from a real criminal, and somehow trying to keep their scout uniforms clean. It's goofy, but in all the best ways. Not into camping? What about toxic sludge that gives you superpowers and zero self-control? In Modern Problems, Chevy Chase plays Max, an air traffic controller who's having the worst time ever. His girlfriend dumps him. His job is stressing him out, and everything in his life is basically falling apart. But then, while driving home one night, a truck full of radioactive waste spills on him. And instead of, dying, he suddenly has telekinetic powers. He can move stuff with his mind. No training, no warning, just boom, superpowers. At first, Max uses his powers in petty ways, floating food into his mouth, breaking stuff, spying on people. Then it gets weirder. He starts using his powers to get revenge. especially on his ex and her new boyfriend. And that's when things start spiraling. Modern Problems is full of over-the-top moments, like Max making his rival float in the air mid-date or exploding objects just because he's mad. It's totally ridiculous, but that's the point.
Nobody know.
You thought we were done? Not yet, because no list of forgotten 80s comedies is complete without this absolute legend. UHF is one of the most underrated comedies of the 80s, and it stars none other than Weird Al Yankovic. Yep, the king of parody songs. In this movie, he plays George, a daydreaming slacker who somehow ends up running a local UHF TV channel that's about to go broke. Instead of giving up, George starts airing the weirdest shows ever, like Wheel of Fish, Conan the Librarian, and Gandhi 2, where Gandhi becomes an action hero.
He's back. And this time, he's mad.
It's complete nonsense, which makes it amazing. The entire movie feels like one giant sketch comedy. Every scene is a new parody or joke, jumping from Rambo-style battles to fake commercials for products no one asked for. It's super fast, totally random, and full of the kind of humor that makes your parents say, "What are you watching?" Most of these comedies disappeared because they were just too weird, too wild, or too ahead of their time. Which one made you laugh the hardest? Or which one are you watching tonight? Drop it in the comments.